Well, let's start right here. A little video tour. That's me and my wife Raquel in 2009 getting our picture taken at the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Museum. Totally worth seeing if you're going to Cleveland. We're going to walk rather slowly around my lovely house, which is completely paid for. See, it's from 1908. This house was built, and just find all sorts of weird funky things in here. There's an array of toys there, even though my kids are grown. Let's move over and start looking at some of the collectible stuff relating to comics and movies. Did I mention that I have a ridiculous number of movies? And here we see one of the things of movies that I have here. You see that it rotates, and it has an insane number of movies, way more than it actually looks, because there's all sorts of stacks of discs on the bottom there. There's a lot of movies that I don't even have in there. Let's come over here, get a good look at this. I mentioned this in a different video. This is the Santo and Blue Demon lobby card. Santo Blue Demon versus Dracula and the Wolfman lobby card. It's not a print, it's an original lobby card from a Mexican theater. Don't know if it's worth anything. Are Mexican lobby cards really worth anything? Hard to say. I'm going to try not to move too fast here. And I've got all sorts of stuff in my way. This, comics fans, is a Ramona Fradon original pencil drawing of Metamorpho. And it's a beauty. Saw her at a show, I think in San Diego, and bought that from her. And we come on over here, and we have another Mexican lobby card. This one is for Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, except in Mexico this was released as Mecha King contra Godzilla. And you notice that there's a paint. This is an original painting back here that the Mexican distributor did, and there's some photographs in the front, but there's a painting back there. Don't know what that's worth. Again, maybe nothing, but I like it. Here's a montage of Sean Waltman, also known as the Lightning Kid, also known as the 1-2-3 Kid, most known as X-Pac from WWE. That's him up there as the Lightning Kid when he was starting out in Minneapolis, and there he is as X-Pac. And this is another one of our Minneapolis boys, Jerry Lynn. That's him when he was with TNA, and there he is up there when he was with ECW. These are just some of my signed wrestling pictures. These guys had the greatest ever local feud here in local Minneapolis wrestling, and you should have seen them go at it when they were starting out. Lightning Kid versus Jerry Lynn, greatest ticket in town for local wrestling. And so I put those pictures together for them. And we come in here at the piano, where my daughter Anya does her playing. And she's very into performance and music and dance and acting and everything. And a little computer station here. I've got the computer on. And the curtains my wife made. There's a nice little, whoa, creepy eyes. Nice little photograph of Jacob, my son, when he was a baby. Look down there. We got all just boxes full of video game stuff. Ridiculous. And check out this bookshelf here. This is a small part of my book collection, and I have so many comic book reprints. I'm getting to the point where I practically have everything worth having, which is a pretty bizarre point to get to considering the vast amount of material available. And there's a CD tower there. Now here's a really good one. El Hijo de Godzilla. This is a lobby card, a Mexican lobby card for Son of Godzilla. The Son of Godzilla's name was actually Minya. There's the photograph part. The rest of this part up here is an original painting, apparently done for the Mexican distributor. And so I don't know if these original lobby cards are worth anything. You know, when I traded for these cards, we were trying to put a value on them, but there was nobody that had any. So I was trading with a very experienced dealer, and we're good friends. And we're both just sitting there looking at it going, well, nobody has any of these. Nobody's got them for sale for any price. So what do you value it at? And he looked at it and he said, I have to believe that's worth $20. And I said, you know what? I totally believe it's worth $20, so I gave him a trade value of $20 on the lobby cards. And I have a few that I haven't hung up, but this is one I really like, the Son of Godzilla, because that's one of my favorite old school Godzilla movies. I just like that movie a lot. My kids liked it a lot when they were growing up too. So let's go back into the sunroom. This is the real disaster area, because this is sort of my studio. Let's first just come down here and see what we got down here. This is, you can see, these are stacks of movies. You know, I have right here on top The Invisible Man from 1954 in Japan. All sorts of oddities and movies. This entire stack back here is movies. Movies that I don't have room for anywhere else. Here we have We're Gonna Eat You, and some of the other movies that I have here. And there's more movies on the side. There's more books. Now let's come up here, take a look at this insane bookshelf here, which is this is all comic reprint books from all different eras. And you can see I've got a lot of Marvel, I've got a lot of DC, there's a lot of Judge Dredd down there, a big 2000 AD fan. There's a lot of stuff, and then down at the bottom we have some of the fridge magnets that I make. There's more movies, there's a pile of stuff here. Let me just back up and see this pile of stuff here. See those cardboard boxes there are unsold comics from projects that I still have comics on. And this stuff over here is show convention stuff, my convention pile of gear for doing comic conventions. There's where I keep my tripod, my trusty tripod. Now here's something really neat for comic fans. You're going to like this. This is a nude drawing by Alex Nino. It's an original. It's the most expensive piece of original art I have, and I framed it, and it's a beauty. Now here's beneath it is a signed print from Al Feldstein, and that's a recreation of one of his famous science fiction covers. There's ivory. There's more wrestling stuff up here above the door. Mostly local wrestlers up there, but we'll get over there. Let's turn around here to the other bookshelf. And we got my Edgar Wallace, and just over here's an ECW, some more signed wrestling stuff. There's Al Snow, Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, and Beulah. Got all their signatures on there, so that's a good one. I used to have that hanging up, but we just moved it in here, sort of shift things around. And here's some more. There's a lot of this isn't so much comic reprints as pulp magazines, novels, and books about comics and about art. Although there's quite a few of newspaper reprints. You can see my Popeyes over there, and Little Abner, and a few other things. There's Dick Tracy's in there. There's a lot of newspaper comics in there. So I'm going to come over here to where we have some of these guys, which were a gift. And we have, what do we have here? Various punk rock. There's a ridiculous number of CDs over here. Just a ridiculous number. See, Bill Batson, good friend of mine, from the Hipsters, Ernie Batson, they're a local group. That's back in the 70s. And Shonen Knife, another favorite of mine. What do we have up here? Have some random Mexican comics that I got somewhere with some sort of wrestling theme on them. What is that? Oh, that's a pretty cute one. Yeah, these are just sort of random Mexican digests, and underneath that, what do we have here? What is this stuff? I just don't know. One Piece figures. Classics Illustrated, Jerry Anderson cutaway book. I love Jerry Anderson. He's a great creative television producer. And let's come in here. I got flyers for my Rula Cthulhu website where my comic goes up. Judy Canova tape from her radio show. Oh, there's a styrofoam head where my mask would normally be. I got to get a new mask because my old mask is just Just sweat stained and worn out. And this is just a pile of garbage down here. There's a fan. There's my music that I use. Sitting on top of the boombox is elevated on top of some old videotapes. Here's my tape gun that I stole from Ross Sportswear back when I worked there. My 2 rubber gorillas. Why do I have 2 of these? I don't know, but they're great. They're great rubber gorillas. A stack of more books back here. More comics. And just going up here, there's a poster for the Amsterdam comic show by an artist friend of mine, Gerben Den Heaton. And there's Ken Patera and 6% Body Fat Rob James, autographed of course. And let's get a good look at this poster. That's all the Power Rangers heroes, all in one poster for their anniversary. And up there we've got Son of Havoc, the Trios champions with his partners, and who's that up there? I can't tell looking through this camera. Oh, that's our local Sheik Davari, I believe. And coming over here, and just tell you how much chaos it is. Here's a signed picture of Joey Ryan that I haven't even had time to put up, and I bought this months ago. Underneath here, there's some Lucha magazines. Start digging into it. There's some old art. I'm tipping the whole thing over. Jesus. I'm going to cause an avalanche here. Okay, I was just trying to show you that underneath here are these stacks of magazines. These are all Lucha wrestling magazines. Oh, I pull out one that doesn't show anything. Yeah, here we go. Lucha. Lucha is just random Luchas 2000 and Guerreros and various other magazines, just stacks of stuff. I don't know if every artist is as disorganized as me, but definitely there's some serious disorganization going in here. Yeah, there's that. This broken hair thing I meant to get back to a girl I know. Let's see what's sitting here. My tape. I can't work without tape. And there's King Caesar from the Godzilla movies. It's a signed picture of me at San Diego when my kids were little with Gail Kim, the TNA wrestling champion, ladies champion, the first ladies champion, knockouts champion at TNA wrestling. And get up back on here. Here's Martian Manhunter, which I only have because he came with Plastic Man. It's my cup using whiteout. Let's see, there's a Batman mug just happens to be sitting there. What's that? It's a candy tin. There's some Chinese candies. Just all sorts of weird things that are on here for no reason. I found this Ganesh somewhere. It's a Ganesh. It's a Hindu god. Like Apu worships, but I don't know why it's there. There's a one-piece samurai. There's a spaceman standing there. There's a little tiny Betty Boop there. There's my good old kneaded eraser. Come on over here. I don't really play vinyl anymore. I don't know why I have this single sitting here, but it's the Assassins. They used to be my favorite group till they broke up, and now the Toxins are my favorite group. See if I can wind the robot with one hand. My twisting robot. I have 2 of those, different ones. What's back here? Oh, there's all my brushes and stuff back here. Here's some pictures with wrestlers. There I am with my mask with Rob Van Dam. And let's see. It's my daughter when she was younger with Sean Davari. There's my kids at their very first wrestling card with a couple of little wrestlers. Took a picture of them. They were about the same size. It's kind of fun. That's Skinner's Pub, an Irish pub here locally that had a wrestling card. And let's just look at some of this stuff. We have a signed Joe Kubart print, Russ Meyer postcard. They got Joe Simon's signature on that. There's a signed Xerox of a picture from Chaz Truog, a local artist who did Animal Man. And moving up, there's just a bunch of different stuff up here. Oh, here's a one-piece drawing that my daughter did. I can't remember why she owed me a drawing. She owed me a drawing for some reason. I made her draw Luffy from One Piece. So coming over here, we got the sign showing a knife poster. Got a little bit another Assassins poster. Well, Toxines, if you'd put out a poster, I would take that one down. You know, there's a Chicago group that dies. There's another piece of Santo memorabilia. That's just a print. There's a Tiger Girl splash page from a comic that had loose pages. There's Trash Man by Spain Rodriguez, which actually came out of this book. This book fell apart. I bought it back in '72 when I was 12 years old for cover price, and because it had salacious stuff in it, and I was a precocious 12-year-old, and looked at it till it fell apart, and kept the cover. I believe the cover's by Rand Holmes. There's some random things here that were cut out of magazines, comic book related things. This is a Wally Wood thing that he did internally for Marvel to help young artists think of good dramatic panels, and at once Marvel actually sent me that with their rejection notice, which was kind of nice of them. And there's some sketches, more Russ Meyer stuff, more signed wrestling pictures here and there. There's a Dave Richardson, I'm trying to remember the name of that artist, did the Leather Nun here. So you come over here like this. Here's my drawing board. Here's some examples of actual size comic pages. You can see they're small. They're the actual size of a comic. I draw small. So these are kind of startling one there. Are you still here? Yeah, that's a evil witch. And that comic there, and various things. It's just a random monster sketch there. Carter from My Honeymoon back in '89. There's a Plastic Man there. There's a Judge Anderson figure hanging on there. It's just a bunch of random weird stuff here. There's a one-piece mermaid there. Basil Wolverton's Weird Tales of the Future. And that pretty much wraps up some of the weird stuff I have downstairs here anyways. Here's an overview of my whole little spot where I draw so much of my stuff. This is this artist studio, this narrow little sunroom where I don't like the sun. I keep the blinds more or less drawn. And it's got a big garbage pile over in here of just whatnot and everything. Some Star Wars stuff that Gerben Den Heaton, the Amsterdam artist I know, did. It's in there, and there's some pinup type stuff. What is this? Justice League versus Teen Titans. I have these movies and sleeves just everywhere. So yeah, this is my my home, and this is some of my stuff. So there you have it. I hope you kind of enjoyed this. If you don't know what kind of crap artists live in, I hope you kind of enjoyed looking at this stuff. And I do think I have some neat stuff in here, like that Alex Nino drawing. So hope you enjoyed this video.